Whether you're new to the long dark or you've been surviving the frozen wilderness for years, I think we can all agree that there are a few easy mistakes that we've all had lead to our deaths. Probably more times than blizzards or animal attacks. The worst part of these mistakes is that you might not realize what your mistake was until you're staring at a game over screen. So today we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that are too easy to make in the long dark and how to hopefully never make them again. Let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is scent. If you've ever been charged by a predator seemingly out of nowhere, scent is probably the reason why. The scent mechanic in the long dark determines how far away a predator can be and still be able to detect you by smelling you. If you're carrying fresh meat or guts, your scent increases. In this case, the game does give you a warning in the form of the scent meter. The more indications on your scent meter, the more attention you're likely to get from predators. So far, this is something that we all understand, we all pay decent attention to. Where it starts to fall apart, even for experienced players, is when blood loss comes into play. Blood loss sets your scent to maximum. That means that if you're bleeding and you decide to keep going without treating yourself, you're pretty much painting a target on yourself for any predator within the scent range to let them know, like, hey, I'm just over here, a nice bloody snack. To avoid this, just take the time to bandage yourself every single time. Don't get attacked when you're already injured, because that could easily be fatal. And speaking of threats that can be easy to underestimate, let's talk about dehydration. Hydration can feel deceptively manageable in the long dark, up until the moment that it takes you out. During the day, it's straightforward to stay hydrated. Melt snow, drink water, rinse and repeat as needed when your hydration bar dips. It's when you lie down for a long sleep that things start to get dangerous. Whether you realize it or not, the clock is ticking and your hydration bar is dropping even when you're sleeping and you aren't watching it. If you sleep for a long time, meaning 10 to 12 hours, without drinking enough water before you go to sleep, you could drain your entire hydration bar overnight. And what's worse is that if the bar hits 0 while you are still sleeping, you can start to lose condition, meaning you could wake up in a very dangerous state. It's one of the most disappointing ways to lose your run. If you haven't experienced it, trust me, you want to avoid it. Drink adequately before you sleep, and even sleep in shifts. It'll become a habit with time, and the extra 10 seconds that it takes is worth not losing your entire run. While scent and dehydration add to the realism of the game, our next entry, Auto Walk, is a feature added for players that can be surprisingly dangerous. We've all been in that spot where we have a long journey ahead of us and we want to step away for a second but have the journey continue. Auto Walk makes that possible, but with some major downsides. With Auto Walk, your character is locked into a straight line across any and all surfaces. This includes thin ice, cliff edges. There is no hesitation, just walking straight forwards. The worst part is that if you're using the feature, you're probably using it so that you don't have to pay full attention to what's happening in the game. You're likely distracted, which means that you don't hear the ice cracking under your feet or the growl of a nearby predator. By the time that you look up or get back to your computer, your character may have already fallen or be in the middle of a conflict with a wolf. It's no wonder that this has ended so many runs. It's a cool tool for sure, but only use it briefly and on routes that you know are safe. So no routes that take you close to cliffs. And since we're discussing falling, we have to talk about our own ambition and impatience causing us to fall. When we have a long journey ahead of us, we all want to navigate terrain the way that you can in Skyrim. Hopping between ledges, sliding down slopes, traveling like a mountain goat, and taking any shortcut that you want with 0 consequences. The long dark is very, very far from that. There isn't even a jump button. If you ever try to Skyrim your way down a mountainside, the long dark will be happy to remind you that that's not the game that you're playing. An actual drop can usually mean multiple conditions that completely prevent you from being able to run until you recover. And in some cases, a cliffside that you could easily navigate in Skyrim means death in the long dark. My advice is to take the terrain seriously and find another way down, even if it's going to take longer. It's not worth the potential consequences to risk taking a shortcut here. The last mistake on our list is one that truly maximizes hazard potential. It's dealing with wet clothes. Have you ever fallen through thin ice and gotten a warning on the screen about having wet clothes, and instead of starting a fire or changing clothes, you just thought, I'll deal with it later? Well, that can be a fatal mistake. mistake. Wet clothing can actually counter your windproof protections. It can reduce your warmth, and it can even make your clothing heavier the longer that you ignore it and the more wet that it gets. And if you don't dry it in a dry space or by a fire quickly enough, your wet clothes can freeze. Frozen clothing is even more punishing than wet clothes, basically making all of your gear work against you rather than protect you. To avoid this, the moment that your clothes get wet, you should really treat it like an emergency. If you can, change clothes or start a fire, get to a shelter where there's dry space that you can let your clothes dry off, and most of all, don't take any lengthy trips in wet clothes, especially if the weather is already bad. Get yourself back to baseline first, because wet clothes can become a ticking time bomb. So there you have it, 5 mistakes that can easily end your run in the long dark. If one of these mistakes has ended your run, please let me know in the comments. I know I've made all of these mistakes at least once, so please join me, we can commiserate together. Also, if I missed something that you feel like is basic that has destroyed your run in the past, please let me know. We can all share our experiences, give each other some tips to try to avoid easy deaths. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.